So, okay. So the very aim of this class is to enable every one of you to be able to initiate the very basics of all the conversation, be it introducing yourself, or be it introducing yourself, or be it talking about your own hobbies or anything. So therefore, if you're able to practice whatever is being taught here, then by the end of 2022, you'll be able to at least initiate some very basic conversation. And the thing is that if some of you have already taken the Tibetan colloquial classes, then you will find that some of the structure, or rather some of the sentences, may not actually be same as the ones that you have learned. And this is because right here we're mostly focusing on the aspect that has to do with the written language rather than the speaking language, and we're staying as true to our we're trying to stay as true to this very core vow in learning this conversation. So therefore, some of the sentences may seem very different from what you are used to if you have in prior studied Tibetan colloquial system. But most of the particles, the colloquial particles, will be discussed here. So this is the script, or I should say, this is the material that we're going to use to study, and it's actually a entire conversation, back-forth conversation between two persons, and we're breaking out this conversation on different sections. Yeah, last time we had the portion that was talking about greeting, and now this has to work with introducing yourself, telling your name, and asking for other person's name. So in that way, and then at the end, we'll discuss the difference between the usage of two particles, that is hin and re. Okay, so first person, Kangsa Tangbo. Kangsa means individual, Tangbo means first. So first person. So we will assume that the prior greetings have already been said. In the previous class, we had the small dialogue in which the first person greeted the second one, and the second one greeted the first one. So the very moment they met, they said Tashi Telek, and then it was answered with Tashi Telek, Kungkham Sang, and then Kungkham Sang. So this is the we will go with the premise that this has already been said. Okay, so the first person, Kangsa Tangbo. Kenaki Tsenla Kang Shuki Yotam. Kenaki Tsenla Kang Shuki Yotam. Kenaki Tsenla Kang Shuki Yotam. So the first thing that you're going to notice is if you have learned Tibetan conversation prior to this, is that I'm using this very particular sentence. It's a general particle, and it has to do with general particle of inquiring. It's a particle that inquires about a person or a place. Normally, we are more familiar with the usage of another particle, that is kare. So let me write it there here. The particle that we are more familiar is kare. Kera means karere. So kare, kare. But here we are going to be more, we are going to use the other particle, that is kang. Similar meaning, Actually, it's a similar meaning, and in some cases, it's also understood to be a different way of writing this particular particle. So we can say 강을 캐나미 la 강을 or 캐나기 la 강슈기 유탐. So you'll see that the particle that I have used here is 강, which is a particle that is very extensively discussed in the Tibetan grammatical system of the 30. So this is a system of a Tibetan grammatical system in which we talk about the connective particles, and kang is one of the connective particles. And this is something that will be discussed more extensively or more elaborately in our class in October. But it is only recommended if you're already able to speak Tibetan to a good level. You have a basic understanding of the language, including how to make sentences and all. Then I would recommend you to join the class in October, which will deal with the Tibetan grammatical system. But now, going back to the topic, kang is a particle, a connective particle that is extensively discussed in Tibetan grammatical system. And the reason why I'm using kang is because I've made it already clear that we're going to stay true to the written language aspect of Tibetan, even when it's spoken, so that it becomes, by nature, it becomes your second nature, so that later when you read anything, be it a text or anything, it seems more like speaking rather than reading, and you understand it like the way you do it in your day-to-day life without having to focus too much on each particles. So the first line, and the other one, shu, which is the honorific of saying called. How is your name called? Even though it's not very comfortable saying it in that way, and definitely it doesn't make a very good sense there, but it's like asking, how do I call you? You see, but then it doesn't go it that way, because we already have the word ten, which is the honorific for the word name. In normal colloquial system, we say Ming. Non-honorific manner, we say Ming. Kenangi Ming la kare, or Kenangi Ming la kang shu, or Kenangi Ming kang re. But we see that here we are using the honorific. So ten, and we already have the word name here. Therefore, we won't stress on the verb that is called. So therefore, instead of saying, how should I call your name? We understand this as, what is your name, with a honorific. And though we have the very word that is saying, how is it called or call, here we don't let it become apparent. And then we see that there's another particle here that is tam. And it is the particle which is used at the end of the sentence to make it into a question, an inquiry. So it's used as an inquiry. It's a particle which is used in more than just an inquiry, but in these cases, this is used as an inquiry. Normally in English, we have the interrogative mark, we have the question mark. And then we see that it also comes with interrogative pronouns. So any sentence that has an interrogative pronoun and ending with an interrogative mark is actually a question in English. In Tibetan, we see that it is with these. Here we have these interrogative pronouns, and in the very thing in Tibetan is this very particle that is kang. But then the thing that works as the interrogative mark is tam, which is another particle. So therefore this becomes a question. So kena ki la kang shugi yue tam, which means what is your name? And we're using an honorific here, which is ten. Okay, so for those of you who have joined to learn basic Tibetan, every one of you, If this becomes too much details, please tell me, and then I'll try to reduce the details in each class, you see? But I think that if I explain every bit of detail as much as possible, it makes it more logical to learn this language and makes it easier. Otherwise, it feels like you're just accepting some things because you say like, oh, this is Tibetan, that's the way it is said, that's the way it is done. But in reality, everything has a reason why it has been done, you know? So therefore, if it's too much detail, please make sure that you leave me the feedback, and then we will ask everyone, and then we'll see if there's a need to lessen the details, meaning that if I would just say what are the utmost important, and then if I should not include these, then I will do it accordingly. But at this moment, if it's okay, then I think that it's better because you tend to learn more about the very structure of this language. So, what is your name with an honorific? Kerang ki tsen la kang shuki yotam. 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 Okay, one thing that you'll notice also is that this very particular particle that is used at the end to indicate that this very sentence is a question. So definitely those who actually understand this particle will know that this is a question because it's interrogating something. But also with this very particular particle, we see that this is also a question. But you'll see that normally when we speak, which is in the colloquial system, we don't tend to use these particle as the question or interrogative particle. So we see them while we read something, be it a storybook or later be it a text. We see that these are used only while writing, but the thing is that they are also used while speaking. So when it's a question, it would be nice if you could add this one. And this should be not only for the conversation here, whatever question that you're asking someone, make sure that you include these particles. Okay, luck. So la, which is a very good way to respond to someone asking you a question. It's like you're just acknowledging someone asking you a question, and then you're acknowledging their willingness to conversation. I'm not in that very particular meaning, it's to elaborate. And the thing is that when we say luck, it's a sign of showing respect, saying that now I will initiate my answer. I hope that it doesn't sound too robotic here, but it is like that. So when we say la, normally we find that la is used when a younger person talks to an elder. It's a sign of respect. But I tend to use it with everyone because I feel that there's no reason why not to be respectful, you know? So therefore, luck, which means that, oh, I have heard your question. Now I'm going to answer. So it's like addressing someone with respect. La nge mingla siring sirki. So this shu is being substituted by ser. Shu is a word that you use to ask someone what is called. And ser is called in a way that a person says that I am called this. So the difference between shu and ser here. Shu has actually more than 2 or 3 usage, but here in this very context, it means called. How do I call you? What is your name? How are you called? You know? Or for example, if we use it with inanimate object, we say, what is this fruit called? So here we're interrogating. So shu is more like called, but with interrogation, asking someone what it is called. And the ser is more like this is called. So it's called, but the second one is more like asking someone, interrogation, and the second one is more like answering. So the first called is with the interrogation, and the second called is with answering. So called as a question. Called as an answer. So ser is, this is called, that is called. When you're answering it, shu is, what is this called? What is that called? As in interrogation. So one is question, one is answer, and that's the difference between shu and ser. And shu is honorific, ser is not honorific. You can actually use, I mean, if you want to use it as an honorific, you can use shu, shui use, but not with the sa. You just, what you do is that you cut down the sa, you only write shu, and that's it. So you can do that, or you can pull. So let me write this down. It's better if I write it than just saying it. You can see it's much better. So please look in the chat. I have written both variations. You can either write as po shashim shu or shashim shu, which is honorific of saying ser. Whereas shashim shu, so shu, it's more like, and shu is also used in a way that you're asking someone, requesting someone, you know. So therefore, so that's the difference between these two. And you see that the question has yu, and therefore this has yu. And you may ask the question, why is there ki here and why is there ki here? And for that, you'll have to join my grammar class. There is where you will find out why this is this and this is this, even though both of them have a similar meaning, but it has to do with the grammatical rules. But this is not very much urgent or pressing at the moment. More important is to understand these, because these are more words which are used in speaking. And though these are used, but these can be delayed to understand. These are more eminent ones, more important ones that you're going to come up in day-to-day life. These you can, even though it sounds very contradictory with what I said, but these at the moment you can say like, oh, okay, we'll deal with this later. But these are more eminent ones that you need to deal with at this very class. And if you don't understand it, please ask me, and I'll try to make it as clear as possible. So, la, nghe ming la, sering serkiyo. La, nghe ming la, sering serkiyo. La, nghe ming la, sering serkiyo, which means my name is Sering. You'll see that la has not been translated because it's just a form of addressing that someone has asked you a question, and then you're responding to them. Sorry, responding. Sorry. So you're responding to them. You're responding to them by acknowledging their question and then being polite and respectful, because it's always good to be polite and respectful. That's my way of thinking. So in any case, but it's not translated here. Very reason, because it's just the way to address someone, acknowledging that someone is speaking to you. Therefore, it doesn't need to be translated. So the actual translation says, my name is Tsering. And please notice that this ser and shu has not been translated here. You can either focus on ming and tse and translate it in that manner, or you can focus on shu and ser and translate. Right? You can say, my name is this, or I'm called this, you know? So you can say, what is your name? Or you can say, what are you called? And then you can say, my name is Tsering, or you can say, I am called Tsering. So you can focus on shu and ser, or tsen or ming. So yes, and remember, never use honorific for your own self. Never use honorific when you're speaking of your own self. Honorifics are used only to address others, not self. So this is something that has to do with how this language and then rather the tradition, Tibetan tradition works. Doesn't mean we don't respect ourselves, but it's just that we don't like to show honorific for ourselves. So whenever you're addressing yourself, always use the non-honorific verb and nouns. When you're addressing others, make sure to use the honorific nouns and verb. Lesser. So therefore, yes, because the thing is that I mean, I'm living at a monastery, and there are people who come from other country who join as a monk, and then the very initial state when they're learning Tibetan, they use honorifics as an answering. Like people ask them like, can I shela cheta? And then they'll say nga shela cheta. But in reality, it's nga shela, but actually you should say nga shela nga kala satsahi. Shela is the honorific for food, which is kala. Ch is the honorific of eat, which is sa. So normally when people ask you, can I shela cheta? You have to answer nga kala sata. Right? So, but I mean, in initial time, it's easier to answer the exactly same back, you know? Like trying to do the variation between the honorifics and the colloquial, it's more complicated. So at the initial time, I think it's very, very much understandable. Yes. So therefore, make sure that you never use the you don't use it. I mean, never becomes too extreme when I say it. Make sure that you don't use the honorific for your own self. Use it for others. So naming la Tsering sir. So the person is saying, my name is Tsering. Lasso. Lasso is actually a way to address to someone with respect. It says, yes, yes, like yes. Then we say, oh, yes. But lasso. The more colloquial one is oh yeah, yeah, or yaya. Yaya and hoya, it's like oh, but in not honorific manner. In an honorific manner, it becomes lasso. So it's better, you see. It's even much more it's much more gentler to the it's much more better to hear, you see, when you use honorifics. So for others, that is lasso ngani teshihin. So here you see that he's not saying like my name, but he's directly saying that I am. So when we say I am, never use you. You is to do with possessing something. So you possess your name, right? Your name is your name. So it's something that you have to possess and carry with you until and unless you become a ordained monk or nun, then you change your name. Otherwise, you carry this name with yourself. You possess this very name, right? So therefore, you. But when we say I am, then you have to use a particle that is hin, and hin is a particle to be. It's a to be particle. Rather than to have, it is to be particle. So nga ni hin, nga ni tashi hin, nga ni sitting hin. It has to do with to be. So when we say nga ni tashi hin, it means I am tashi. So we see that we have a to be, we have a to be verb here, which is am. It's a helping verb, and it's a secondary to be verb. So I am tashi means the person is tashi. So therefore, yin is a to be particle. Whenever you use yin, it is to be something. We will come later. We will come to understand the difference between yin and re. Both of them are to be verb, but they're different, and how they are different you will understand. So, lasso ngani tashi. Oh yes, I am tashi. So, lasso tashi la. So let me repeat this. Lasso ngani tashi. laso ngani tashihin. Laso ngani tashihin. I am tashi. I am tashi, and I am tashi, which is to be. Laso tashila. So okay, it means like, oh, okay, tashila. So let's, oh yes, a yes tashila, or okay tashila. So kerang jelwar kapochung. Kerang jelwar kapochung. So tashila. Kerang jelwar kapoch. So these are actually like to say like tashila. So when we say tashila, this la, we have this la, right? It's used as a honorific particle. Whenever we use a person's name and then we add lak, it's like honorific. Like for example, for teachers, we say gen lak. So gen lak is actually referring, gen is the it's the short form of the word gegen. So the actual word is gegen, but this can be written as gen la. So both means teacher, sometimes also written as gen la, and then also as gen la. So so the thing is that when we say luck, it makes it as the person whomever with you using luck becomes someone that we address with respect. So laso tashila, which means okay tashila. Kerang ke ka the kadang ke ke ke. Very different way to address you. K is a way to K kerang is a way to address someone as you, but with respect. K ko he k with sa, it becomes less respectful. It becomes less respectful. But K is respectful. Kerang jelwar. Jelwar means meet. Kerang jelwar kapochung. Kapochung means happy, to feel happy. Though we won't say I feel happy to have met you. It's more like happy to meet you, or I'm very happy to meet you. So lauso tashila. Kerang jelwar kapochung. Okay tashi. Na happy to meet you. Lauso tashila. Kerang jelwar kapochung. Lauso tashila. Kerang jelwar kapochung. Okay tashila. I'm happy to meet you. So, sitting la. Ngayang. Yang is a particle that says to, T-O-O, to. It means I also, it means like my sentiments exact, or I feel the same way. So, sitting la, which we have lak, it's honorific particle. So, addressing with respect. Very happy to meet you too. And this too comes from this word, yang. Ngayang tugi, which means I'm also going, or I too am going, right? Ngayang pui jangki. So sorry, so many extra sentences, but these are examples, and jangki. Which means I am also learning Tibetan, or I too am learning Tibetan. So the particle is yang. But this is not the only particle. There are actually three, but not going in that at this moment. So yang is the particle that actually tells us about two. So very happy to meet you too. So the two comes from this very particle, yang. So this is the script that I want you to learn. So you know that one class is on Saturday, one class is on Tuesday, and I know that every one of you are very busy on those days. But if you can, I humbly request you to study each script so that we can talk with each other, you know? It would be nice to be able to at least say, how are you, or how are you doing, you know? We are still not at how are you at this moment, you know? It will come after this. I mean, we have many classes still to go. According to my calculations, we might have more than 20 something or 30 classes for this course. So we will cover basically everything that is in the basic Tibetan class. So basic conversation. So therefore, we will get to most of this. I mean, if some of you were worried that we were not going to ask how someone is feeling, so definitely we're going to ask them how they are feeling. And we're also going to learn things like ordering food in Tibetan. I mean, those of you who may visit some Tibetan settlement may use these in the future, I hope, definitely. So, Yang, too. So, very happy to meet you, too. So Tsiringla, which is an honorific, here it says Tsiringla, very happy to meet you too. So this is okay. So now other ways to ask for someone's name. So we can do it in other we can use other sentences to ask, like there are other ways to ask for someone's name, and you can use any one of them, and all of them are very wonderful way to ask people, depending on actually the way you're actually using it, like in what type of settings that you're asking it, you know. So definitely you must understand, we are we're not going to use like what is your name when we're addressing like a lama or someone, right? So therefore we don't have a particular sentence for that, or yes, definitely we don't have a particular sentence to use in that manner, you know. So these are used in different levels, some in more formal setting, some in less formal setting. So, but in any case, we understand that these are used in asking someone's name. So, Kerang Kiming Kang Innam. Kerang Kiming Kang Innam. Kerang Kiming Kang Innam. What is your name? What is your name? So here it becomes is because uh, you see that it is used for a with a pronoun which is not the first person pronoun, though it is to be in the same place. But you see that here there's no honorific, it's more colloquial. No honorific, we're saying Ming, which is the colloquial way of asking it. Then we say, for that, if you ask Kerang ki Ming Kang Inam, we answer it as La Nye Ming Siring Hin. La Nye Ming Siring Hin. La Nye Ming Siring Hin. Which means my name is Siring. My name is Siring. So you see that the very sentence becomes my because of this very particle here. Hakyugu Nye, nye. We have this nye. Nga by itself is I. But with the addition of this very particle, which is hakyugu, it becomes my. It becomes a possessive pronoun. So it's since it's possessive or it's to be, the pronoun is possessive, but remember that it's used in a way that it indicates indicate as to be, because yin, so nghe means sitting in. My name is sitting. So please pay attention that we're not using re in any case. And then the other one is keranki nguming kaina. Keranki nguming kaina. Keranki nguming kaina. Keranki nguming kaina. Nguming is a way to ask actual name. Nguming is a way to ask actual name. So here we are asking, what is your actual name? Though it doesn't mean to ask like, what is your real name? Definitely we're asking for someone's name. So it's like actual name. It's a term that comes from the written language aspect. So we see that in grammatical system, we have two types of name. One is the actual name, other is the designated name. Though a name of a person comes under the designated name category, but here it's actual name, it just means name. It's just more fancier way of asking someone's name. Though it's more formal, but it's still not honorific. It is formal, but it's not honorific. So, what is your name? So it's considered more formal. It's more formal than when you just meet your friends or anything. So it's in more formal setting. So for example, if you meet a colleague for the first time, if you meet a person in the working place for the first time, you ask them, what is your name? Formal, but still you don't use the honorific. So no honorific. So the answer is Nye Ming Ni Tsiringin. But the answer doesn't have Ming. The answer is same. The answer is formal, same. But it's the way it's indicated to be formal, it's just through the question and not in the answer. In the answer, you don't have anything that indicates this is a formal answer. But because the question is formal, the answer becomes more formal. So my name is Siring. Nye Ming Ni Siringin. And now, Kerangi Chen Sangbo Chi. Now, this, even though it's when it's translated, it seems not very comfortable, but it's like, what is your good name? So it's both honorific and more formal. So the question is it's honorific because of the usage of the honorific of the word Ming, which makes it formal, and then with Sangpo, it makes it formal. So instead of saying Ngueming, the more honorific way of saying Ngueming is Chen Sangpo. And whenever you say the name of so Chen Sangpo is the honorific of the word Ngueming. So whenever you so it was before on the tip of my tongue, it went back, then it came back again. So whenever you say the name of lamas, you use the word Pe Sangpo, Chen Sangpo, which is a honorific way of referring to the names of the lamas or any one whom you want to highly respect. The thing is that it is more traditional thing. In Tibetan tradition, no one is higher than a lama, because the word lama itself means the highest. So lama means the one that is on the highest. So therefore, there's no one higher. So this is the very definition of the word, which means the highest. So therefore, uh, so therefore, when we call a name of a lama, remember, not every lama is someone's lama. So remember this. So therefore, when I say the lama, I'm talking in a more personal way, whereas when someone considers someone to be the highest, then when you use when you call their name, you use the word Sangbo. So make sure that this is made clear here. So my name is Tsering. So here we're asking someone in a very formal setting with honorific of what their name is. So it can be in a formal setting, and the person you're asking the name for may be someone who is senior to you. So you ask them, you ask them, when you ask their name, you use Sangpo. So, keranki Sangpo Ji. So this is another particle. This is a general particle which indicates interrogation. So you can use this as interrogative, saying what. So keranki Ming Ji. So now let's go with let me read each and every one of this 3 times. So if you ask someone's name, you can ask in a very non-formal, casual setting with your friends or someone younger than you. Keranki Ming Kangina. Keranki Ming Kangina. Keranki Ming Kangina. What is your name? Colloquial, no honorific, not formal. La. Ming Tsiringin. Respect with respect, but still in a casual, can be used in a casual. The answer is actually most of the answers are same. It's it doesn't have like a more formal way to say an answer. So the way you differentiate how the conversation is going, is it in a very casual setting or in a more formal setting, depends on the question. So which means my name is Tsering. So in a more formal setting, but without using the honorific. For example, in a setting where you are with your colleagues that you have met for the first time and you want to present yourself to be more formal in the very first impression. So, keranki nguming kangin. Keranki nguming kangin. Keranki nguming kangin. What is your name? What is your name? What is your name? Formal? No honorific, because you're using it with your colleagues who are who you consider to be equal to yourself. And my name is Tsering. Keranki Sangbo Jina. Keranki Sangbo Jina. Keranki Sangbo Jina. What is your good name? What is your good name? What is your good name? Honorific, formal setting. In a workplace, to address someone who is senior. So remember, in Tibetan, we have the word gen. So same with the gegen, we have gen, right? So this, and this means senior. And in Tibetan, senior is of 2 types. One who are senior by age, other who are senior by it may be because of their merits. So senior by merits and senior by age. So someone can be younger than me, but they may have more merits. So that person is senior by merits, and therefore I respect that person. So therefore, in those cases, you use honorific. Or if it's not formal and you want to use honorific, then we had this one. This is honorific with respect, but no formality. So no, it's not formal setting. So if you meet someone elder outside or anywhere, you may ask them with respect, what is your name? You don't ask them, oh, like for example, let's make a scenario where I meet an elder person, then I'll say, can I get or can I get I won't say can I mean because this is without respect, you see? So you do it with respect and you say, can I get what is your name? But with honorific. And then you meet your friend, then you meet someone that is of same age of you, or you meet someone who's younger than you. So a child or anything. It doesn't mean that we're being disrespectful. It just means that if in those cases, you don't use the honorific, you can use the honorific definitely. But if you don't want to use the honorific in those cases, you can say Now, in a more formal setting, if you want to say what is your name without making it uncomfortable by using honorifics, you can say Now, in a formal setting, you want to sound more respectful. With honorific, you say So these are ways to actually say that. So these are different ways to ask someone for their name. Now, this is one of the important things that we're going to learn today. The difference in understanding the usage of re and yin. Both are particles used in both written and spoken language, but more emphasis during the speaking. So the thing is that some of the particles that we learn here are not in the text, the grammatical text that we use. So therefore, as long as my knowledge is concerned. So therefore, we're going to extensively discuss this in our conversation class. And if this becomes too much, please make sure that you tell me in the group or through email that, and then we'll see how many people agrees. And if that's the case, then I will try to trim out all the details and then make sure that it's more focused. But if you think that this is not that bad, I can actually learn this, and definitely everyone can learn this. So, but it will take time, which is depending on each and every one of you. So, in and re, two very common particles that we use in Tibetan spoken language. So here it says, so mawapo, which is the first person, the one who is speaking. Mayul, which is the person to whom you speak, which is the second person. So the first person and the second person. So yin, it is used for first person and second person only. It's only used for first person and second person. First person being the speaker, second person being the person to whom the first person is speaking to, right? So second person is actually, when we say second person, it means more than a person. Sometimes it can be more than one person, but multiple. First person. Mayul, second person. So yin is used when we are referring to something that has to do with the speaker or the one that's listening. So if we say like, if the person is saying, this is my house, so we see that the house belongs to the speaker. So you'll say, di nye nangin. Di, which is this, dini nye nangin. So dini nye nangin. So dini nye nangin refers to the house or the home. home, when we say this home depends, it belongs to whom? It belongs to the speaker. This is my home. Dini nye nang in. So we see when we have in, right? We see that in is used here because the home, the very home, belongs to the speaker, the one who is saying this is my house or this is my home. The home belongs to that person. Therefore, when we are referring to the home, we are using the particle in. And then if we're going to ask, who are you? You at this moment is the person that's listening. The second person will say, Kena su innam. Kena su innam. Or kena ni su innam. We can use ni. Kena ni su innam or kena su innam. So when we say yin, we're using here. So I will be writing on the chat a lot. So please check the chat also here. Kera su in nam. Kera su in nam. Kera su in nam. So here we're asking, who are you? But the person that we are referring to right now is the person that's listening, right? So therefore it becomes the second person. Therefore we have used in. So yin can be used only, and it is only used in the case of to be, right? It's used in as in to be. When I say to be, please make sure that you're noticing this very particle in English. It is the secondary verb to be, helping verb. So to be verb, something that is to be, rather than something that says I possess this, right? Like we say I have this, right? So instead of saying having, it's like is. So in is to be. So to be and to be used with the first person and the second person. First person and second person. So whatever that has to do with the first person or the second person in the context of to be, we're going to use in. Now, re. Lokpa means other than. So it is used for third person, right? It is used for third person. So it has to do with third person, the house or anything that belongs to the third person. So when we say third person, it is either something that's not in the sphere of the listener and the speaker. So it can be also inanimate, right? Things that can be inanimate. So 거기 죽으래. 거기 죽으래. 거기 죽으래. Chugu means river. It is Tibet's river. It is Tibet's river. It is Tibet's river. So we see that it is a third person, or it is used for inanimate, which is neither the listener nor the speaker. So it is Tibet's river. We see that it has nothing to do with both the speaker as well as the listener. So in those cases, we use re. So it can also be used for third person. So anyone or a group of people that is neither the first or the second person. So uh, 空出空出 lobcha Hongsu lobcha Hongsu means there or them. Hongsu, sorry, it can. Hongsu. Hongsu lobcha Hongsu lobcha Hongsu lobcha This is their school. It's their school. So we see that here, Hongsu refers to someone that is third person from the speaker and the listener. And therefore, which means it is theirs. So we see that even if either it's an inanimate thing, like Tibet is inanimate, it's a country, or it's the third person that's neither the speaker or the listener, we use the word re. So whenever you make sentence related to the first or the second person, the listener and the speaker, use in context of to be. Whenever you're making sentence in regarding to something that's neither the first person or the second person, use re in context of to be. Okay, so this is today's class, and those who have questions regarding the class, please ask away. We can have 10 minutes for question answers, and those who have questions, please ask away. And this is the lesson on these two particles. But the more important thing is this is important, but more important is to understand these scripts and these variation of the script. Okay, so please ask me any questions regarding today's lesson or anything that is like a general doubt regarding anything that has been taught today.
Tenzala, can you repeat for the second person? So second person is you, right?
Yes.
Kerang. Okay. So it in Kerang, can you give some other sentences, example of other sentences with the second person in which we use yin?
Yin? Okay. Then okay, I'll also write in the chat so you can see what I have written. Uh, Kena gegen yinnam, which means are you a teacher, right? So in this question, we see that we're using kerang, but in the context when we're asking someone, so this is similar. And then
What if it's a positive sentence, not a question? Then also yin will come?
uh, so not a question, right?
Yeah,
For
not the question,
example,
but a positive statement like you are a teacher. Then we remove nam. Is that
yes.
right? Okay.
So when we say that you are a teacher, right? So when we have to say you are a teacher, we say kerang gegein, kerang lobta di gegein. But the thing is that this is a very okay. So we say kerang pyobayin. It means you are a Tibetan, or we can say kerang miin, or so yin is more towards to be, right? Not pyobayin, kerang pyobayin. So okay, so definitely we use in most cases. But now that you have asked that very question, there are cases where we are saying, but that is mostly to ascertain something. So, but yeah, kerang pyobayin, kerang pyobayin, kerang pyobayin, kerang or kerang gegein. But this is something that we normally don't use. So like we ask someone what they are, but normally we don't say. I mean, it's a very. I'm trying to imagine the kind of scenario. Well, you have to say that, to someone that you are a teacher or you are something. But normally we don't use it. But if you use it, it will be like this. So you see that I'm having a little bit of troubles actually confirming the sentence because it's normally not used too much. But yes, if it was to be used, it will be used. Like we see naming sitting in. Similarly, kerang, if that is the person that's listening to you, you say kerang gegein. So taring ne kerang lobda di gegein ba. So, oh, okay. So wonderful. Let me make this. Taring ne sung kerang. Okay, so let's say we give someone a name for some reason. Tiring tang, which means from today you are tiring. Taring ne sung means from today you are tiring. Right? So, and any other questions other than usage with kerang?
So, are there also possibilities when we use Ray with Kerang?
They use it, but according to the very definition, this becomes contradictory.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So therefore, and I told you, you will hear people speaking, including the natives, in certain way, but this is because sometimes it's influenced by the people who are using it incorrectly, right? And then it becomes a thing that just becomes, and then everyone is using it incorrectly, and not many people are actually noticing that they're doing it. And then when you start using it correctly, it seems quite uncomfortable because you see people saying, "Oh, cannot direta, cannot pagireta," But in reality, it is cannot diin, cannot pagiin. But since you don't hear it used quite often, you feel like, is this wrong? But in reality, this is right. But since many are using it in that way, in the incorrect way, you feel that this is uncomfortable. So therefore, in, always in. So let's stay true to the definition. So
Okay.
therefore, always in.
Okay.
So,
Gela,
Also,
yes.
when we ask the third person,
Mhm.
do we say consulate or just consulate?
Consuretam. Yes.
Consulate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Any questions? Any more questions?
there is one question in the chat.
Yes. Yes. So this is so taring ne sung kerang tiring yin tangs means from today onwards you are tiring.
Also, Tenzila, is there difference between Khe and Kherang, or they both are synonymous?
So kerang and ke are same.
Okay.
So you can use both. But let me get to them. Okay. So K and K are different. K is not honorific, whereas K is honorific. So this.
Okay.
This is honorific, but Kerang and K is same. And another thing that if you're using nga, you have nga. I might just write it. So since it's nga, ngarang, and nge, all same. So you can use these three. Nga, ngarang, nge. But if you, so there is a usage of this, right? There is a usage of this and this. Sorry, not this one. This and this and this, which is ng, and this means I, but you use them only to only in a way you only if you're either a lama or yes, definitely either if you're a lama or someone who is like by birth in a higher place, you know. So you say ng, which is an honorific to self, but is used by lamas and great like lamas only. So these days it's used only by the lamas. Ng, you can say nga, nge, ngarang for your own self. And then there is, and I think this is going to be new for many of you, even if you have learned Tibetan, this koja, right? Kojak, which means you, and then ngecha, which means I, and or us. Sorry, ngecha means us, koja means you, as in plural. So in Tibetan, we have plural and singular for you. So if it's just a single person, ke or ke. If it's for more than one person, you say either you say kecho or pocha. For us, we can either use nganso or we can say ngecha. So new words. So these are new words and very wonderful way. And then there is another way to say. So these, I think I should just post these in the class group and then speak a little bit on those. So please make sure that you check on the class group. This I will write these in the class group from time to time. These are vocabulary. So for I, us, we, you, there are many words, and depending on how you are addressing yourself in a particular setting. So in English too, we have many ways to say I, sometimes in more humble way, sometimes in less humble way. But in any way, please keep checking the group. Sometimes I have the tendency of sending these things at very unpredictable hours. So make sure it might just pop up as a message anytime. So any more questions regarding today's lesson? Does anyone have Lasso?
Jiwachi,
Lasso?
where do we use kombucha?
Yes, I will.
Kombucha.
Koja.
Kombucha.
Koja, right? It's wo.
There is a cha.
So it's kojak.
Kocha.
Yes,
I like.
ko wo jak.
Mm.
So so it's kojak. Kojak refers to you as in plural. When we say you, but we're referring to many people, right? So that's kojak.
Tuchena.
Lasso, and definitely I will use. So this color was just an experiment. I'll try to use white next time. if it's much more visible. And any more questions? If we don't have questions, then we will call it a class for today.
Indila, what was the last word? Gu. What was the meaning of this one?
It's ko wo chak. It's ko wo chak. So ko wo chak means
Not this one.
which one? Ku.
You all.
Ku.
That's so.
Okay, so you mean
Yeah, Gu.
ku, right? Ku means I,
Right.
but ku is used as
Okay.
I in a very humble manner. When we say a humble me, right? When we try to talk to like someone who is like in olden times, it was like the kings and the lamas. These days, mostly near the lama, and you want to refer to saying like, oh, I would like to request something from you, you know, like I would like to request a teaching from you, and then you refer to yourself as ku. Instead of saying na, you say ku, which actually makes you more like it's a way to show yourself to be more humble than usual, you know. So ku is to refer to as I, but there is no word to refer, no word which can be used for you in a humble manner, because we're not able to address someone and make them humble, you know. That's not our business. Our business is to make ourselves humble. So ku. So, and when you're writing applications in Tibetan, you use ku all the time. But there are also other things, like if many of you have actually been in touch with Buddhism, then you'll see the word tak, because tak is a very famous word in Buddhism, and tak is also I.
Oh.
Yes. So many words, and I will post everything on the class group. And those who are in the class group, please be noted. Please try to keep an eye on it. And those who are not, please join it if you can. It's a WhatsApp group, especially WhatsApp, because the voice messages are so much easier to send in there. So therefore, and then in this class, the only homework you have is to study the script. That's it. Unlike our formal classes, which had like uh, in the reading class we had sentence making, this you only have one homework, that is to practice. And since the next class is on Tuesday, and though I know that all of you are very busy, not only most, every one of you are very busy, but I humbly request you to practice. 5 minutes a day is also enough. 15 minutes is more than enough. So 5 to 15 minutes is more than enough per day if you practice this. So if someone has a question, please ask away. Otherwise, we'll call it a day for today. And I will post all of those variations for I and you. Very interesting ones, some of which definitely you will not have heard in the group. And I will say in what way you refer it, how you use it in normal conversation. So if anyone has questions, please ask away. Lesso. It seems that no one has questions. So this is it for today's class. And thank you very much for everyone who has joined us for this class. And I hope that this class was beneficial to everyone. And please practice so this becomes even more beneficial, so that, I mean, in few months I might be hearing in the chat people talking in Tibetan, you know. That's a wonderful thing that might happen. So this is just an aspirations from my side, and I hope and I pray best of luck to everyone, and Tashi Dele, and I will see you on Tuesday, 7 p.m. That's so.